All I hear is talking, I don't sweat that. If they don't trust me either, I respect that. But she be down the ride, oh, I bet that.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is JH. How y'all doing, Postal family? Are you good? Are you cool, clean, crisp? Are you feeling irie? Let's talk, shall we? How do you deal with your toxic managers and your toxic bosses? How do you deal with it? That's the question. I spoke last night and had a live, and all I could read in the comments is how bad their postmasters are, how bad their plant managers are, how bad their station managers, 204Bs, ABCs, and 123s are. And I asked you guys to come up with some resolution. Said somebody, how do we deal with them? So until somebody deals with them, as far as checking these people and putting their attitudes in perspective, I had a little list of a few things that worked for me, and I jotted them down, and maybe, just maybe, they may work for you. Just maybe. Just 7 little items. Very important that if you try these things, make sure you're diligent about how you go about doing it. Because again, our attitudes can definitely adapt to how our environment is, and that makes the place more toxic. So without further, let's be clear from the beginning. Number one, when you first encountered that toxic boss, that toxic environment, you need to make the decision whether or not you want to stay or go. Because usually it'll show its face within your 30 days, your 90 days, your probation. And we all need jobs, but do we need the headache? And I implore everybody to stick with this place. Yes. But if it means that you have to degrade your own life and your lifestyle, and you got to go home crying every day because of some idiot's nonverbal skills or lack of compassion or empathy, then you have to make that educated decision on whether or not you want to stay. I get a lot of emails and people asking me, for advice, and I can't give advice on your life. I can just tell you what has worked for me. Myself, I decided I was going to stick it out because I've been in bad situations before, and I know how to counteract the foolishness. Number 2, do the work. Don't be a target. If you decide you want to stay, avoid being a target. Or by extension, a victim of the target. That doesn't mean keep your head down or staying out of trouble, which is necessary, but just do your work, do it well. Sometimes you got to go as far as you can to help your boss. That's if your boss is receptive. If not, just do your job. Some of you guys are probably saying, Jay, them some bitches, like they come in there bloodthirsty to come mess with us. Well, again, I'm calling out to any union member. Please tell me how you guys plan on combating this toxic work environment besides marching. Because that happened a couple weeks ago. Things didn't change. Don't get drawn in is number 3. Don't sit there and get yourself pulled into their drama, because they love that. They say misery loves company. Well, I ain't got no friends, and I cannot entertain your bull sugar. See, that's me with my, I'm trying to keep it PG. Toxic people love to pull you into their drama. Don't fall for it. Stay a safe emotional distance away. Sometimes they come on the workroom floor with that foolishness. I got to go to the bathroom. I can't listen to this. I think I might have said this a couple years ago when I used to hear the toxicity in my driver's room. I used to bring up some foolishness. I said, hey, anybody want to see these pictures of these ghost peppers that I'm growing? A couple of you guys are watching like, yeah, you used to do that. It was because of us. Yes, it was because of them. They come in there complaining every single day, bitching and moaning. And I used to grow ghost peppers. That was my thing. And I would just pull it out just to break the monotony of the foolishness. And people like, sometimes I jump in right before. To this day, we got a guy and he just come in there miserable. And I'm like, hey man, screw you, man, what the hell? And he's like, he looks at me all crazy. I said, I had to beat you to it. And it breaks his monotony of him coming with the foolery. That's just crazy tactics that I use. It doesn't work for everybody. Don't gossip. Don't gossip. So I said this yesterday on one of my videos that, with our plant manager, her intent is great. Y'all don't need to have your phones watching movies. Need to be focused on work. That's the generation of the day, and that's just what it is. But if her approach to you was different, if your manager's approaches to you were different, and you knew their main intention, the gossip meaning, hey man, she tripping, man, she tripping, which incites other people to feel like that before they even know what's going on. If you got somebody around, like the new people that come in and you got an old head there and they tell you, hey, watch out for this person. Now you have a preconceived idea about this individual before you even meet this this individual. So flip that in reverse. If this is you and you know that hey, I understand her intention, and you say that in a calm way to somebody else, you're kind of minimizing the foolery. Because when they do approach the next person and they say, hey man, make sure you put that phone away, or make sure you do this and that and the other, you can don't even sweat it, because I know where they're coming from with that. They don't have no ill intentions, because a lot of managers are just told what to do and they just follow through with it. They just don't know how to relay that message. So, it's up to you to try to break that cycle, because gossip is part of toxicity as well. I got some gossipers at my place. These people tell me I'm related to one of the managers. They swear up and down. I work with a bunch of male Mitches. That's what we'll call them. I work with some Mitches. Oh, you related to one of the managers. Why do you say that? It started from one guy and it just went through the whole place. And I said, one day I introduced one of them to her actual sister, and they were like, oh, yeah, this is such and such a sister, right? And they kind of looked and they was like, well, I said, so that in turn would make this person here my aunt as well. And they look so foolish. Don't be part of that little nasty cycle of gossip, And unfortunately, I hate to say this, but it's the men. The men gossip more than the women at the post office. It's crazy. Sheesh. Keep detailed records. It's number 5. I say it all the time. Now, they got this thing where they trying to eliminate people from recording, these conversations. The lady yesterday that was on live, she said she keep herself a little flip pad. I said this years ago. Keep yourself one of those little handy dandy notebooks. Blues Clues. And write down stuff as it happens. As it happens day by day. Day by day, hour by hour, who was there, who saw it, where you was at, what you was wearing, what they was wearing, what kind of food they ate that morning, when they passed gas, what it smelled like. I'm being extra right now, but you get the hint. There may become a point when you're asked to collaborate a complaint. So if somebody says, hey, yeah, man, I remember this. Now you can flip back in your notebook and say, you know what? You're right. That's the date of such and such. My man, Santa Claus, you guys saw him in one of the videos. That man write down everything. It is funny how he does this, but it's a good way to keep yourself out of getting pushed out. Number 6, don't derail your career. The last thing you want to do is allow to be done to you is have your career derailed. This means doing your job the best of your ability and not giving the toxic leader the means or the reasons to start to make you a target. This means you gotta bite your tongue. This is easier said than done. I did it. I bit my tongue so many times, and there was so many times I spazzed out. There was so many times I went in there knowing it was my last day and then have regrets at the end of the day. Don't do it to yourself. Don't derail your goal at the end. And if you ain't got no goal at the end, you ain't gonna make it through this place, because you have to have a goal. You have to have an end goal. If you wanna know what that's about, I have a video that's talking about end goals. You need to have an end goal, or you're just gonna be miserable at this place, because that somehow puts some form of shelter over the foolery we deal with. And you have to have that. And last but not least, remember, I also had a video. It's not forever. Number 7 is not forever. Managers change, supervisors change, 204Bs change, postmasters change. It ain't forever. You don't have to deal with the same individual forever. It may be 2 years, it may be 4 years. But the managers can go anywhere. They're not protected the same way we are. When they're asked to go and do something, they have to go and do something. And with all these upcoming changes, guarantee they're going to be asked to go do something somewhere else. So that same toxic witch, that same toxic Mitch that's messing with you, they're eventually going to be pushed somewhere else. That's factual. They will. They bounce around the whole district. And a lot of times it's because they've been toxic at somewhere else. And they just got so many complaints on them that they end up getting pushed to another place. Why can't they get fired? Number one, I don't want to see anybody lose their job unless they've done something physical to somebody. That's number one. Number two, just because they hurt your feelings, that's not a reason for termination, because I'm sure their feelings were hurt when they were children as well, because they're just grown children, these ignorant son of a mothers. Anyway, listen, I don't know if any of this information is helpful to someone, but there is plenty of people sitting there feeling like they're at their wits' end. And I only implore you to hold on. Go through that list. It was just 7 little items, and see if this is worth it for you. I say it's worth it for me. I say it's worth it for anybody that has a long-term end goal. Now, again, not only you got to deal with the toxic managers, you got to deal with this toxic whole work environment, because we on for a ride. All right. The Joy got, he got a hold of the steering wheel, and he fast and the furious out this beat. But nonetheless, tell me what you guys think. If you have any more to add to that list, please leave some decent comments down there, because people need to hear this. They want to hear different methods that can be helpful in order to help them succeed in this these postal streets. You zim it? This is JH, and we out.
Pesos on a beat.